I know I called everybody.
Hi, Maria. So darling,
Hello,
you're glad
Timmy.
to be home, huh?
I haven't seen you in such a long time.
Oh.
Oh, hello, Charlotte. I'm glad somebody else now is in the limelight. Oh, dear. Nice to see you, honey.
I did want to talk to Maria about, Fred and I have done nothing to help people, you know, after the hurricane. And we've just put it off, but then we were thinking we would ask you because maybe Richard knows a charity or something that he's familiar with in the Rockaways.
Oh,
You know, that we would know was really doing good work.
yeah, what, you want to send cash or food or
Well,
what?
if he wants, you know, if they want real goods, fine. Usually people want cash, but ask him, you
I
know,
certainly will.
because he has connections.
Okay.
You know what? I have to give Joan money that I owe her. And I'm going to give you $20 to give to Richard for whatever he wants to spend it on
Oh,
for the
okay.
community.
Gee, that's very nice. This is very unexpected.
I had so little money. I borrowed from Joan. I didn't fully pay the guy who took down the tree in my driveway.
Thank you for that pea soup and the coffee cake.
Oh, good.
And all those goodies that you brought over. I certainly enjoyed the pea soup
Good.
and
Well,
the
you'll be very
pasta.
happy.
And the
Good.
pasta.
He said the pasta was for you particularly.
Jimmy left when she got her power.
No, I left
Or
before.
you left before?
Before her power.
Oh,
Timmy wanted to get home.
Timmy wanted to get home.
my
Okay, so
nest.
Joan,
But it
So
occurred to
Joan
me,
told
everyone feels this way about his or her house. Everybody wants to get home.
yeah, but I wasn't gonna go home until I had power. You're willing to put up with that?
Well, I had a strong flashlight in the fireplace. So I drank iced coffee in the morning and sat in front of the fire and read the Times with my flashlight.
I think we were very fortunate. We were very fortunate.
You were.
We were. We had almost nothing. As I said, you know, our Israeli relatives and people from friends from Chicago were saying, is the water over your top? Are you in danger of? No, the water never went up just went up, not even to the pool. Just never went up that high. And we had power, you know, we had a few, maybe 12 hours for a while, and then another 10 hours in the northeastern, but we were fine.
Mine
really
came
been
back
very
on
lucky.
Friday.
And the gas, I had the most fun with the gas, because I finally went for gas 6 o'clock in the morning, election, the day after election. I was in the car having so much fun listening to public radio talk all about the wonderful election, so 2 hours was nothing. Do you feel that the election sort of was lost here, you know, with all the other stuff going on?
Nothing lost.
Yeah, we didn't pay as much attention to it as we might have. I didn't mean lost, no, we
No, but we
won.
were distracted
We won
somewhat.
big. We were, you know, it was not, I think we weren't as dancing in the street as we might have been.
Hello, Marty.
Hi, Joan.
I just felt myself just smiling all day long.
I was feeling very worried and cynical before that, but I really feel that we overcame these guys, these
And I feel
billionaires.
like we the women did it.
Yes,
Well, that's the other one too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm so excited about,
we the women did it.
that the women had their say.
Joan, come on in.
And the fact that the white male
I think this chair
Protestant
is for you.
dynasty
Mug if you want.
is over for all time.
That's right.
Isn't that amazing?
Says you, a white Protestant female. I mean,
know,
I could say that, but you?
I think it's cool.
I
think
do
it's just
too.
cool.
I know. All the years we thought that was the world. So how did you react to all of this, Joan?
All of this meaning,
The election in the middle of the storm.
oh, well, that was a bright spot, wasn't it? And surprised. Surprised
We were a
that
very small group.
it wasn't close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We thought it was going to go on and on, Well, they counted Florida.
Until Christmas.
I'm so glad they didn't even need Florida. Oh,
Yes.
That's right, wasn't that wonderful? They had Ohio.
Yes.
My parents were very active in civil rights things early on in the 40s, actually. And my mother was chosen to be part of a faculty in Cincinnati that had both blacks and white teachers. The schools were integrated. I mean, Cincinnati's on the Mason-Dixon line. The school, but it's north, so the schools were integrated, but the faculties were not integrated, and it was really believed that that could not be accomplished. And, but the district, which is a big city district, decided to try it in one school, and they handpicked the teachers for it. And my mother was part of that experiment, and she was very proud of that role. Then my dad became principal of an integrated school with a lot of racial tension. It had been the school where the Taft family sent their kids, and then the area was, the black ghettos moved out of the inner city up the hill, and so now this district was integrated, so it was very touch and go. So he was very involved in that, but we were different, very different from the rest of the community. And I remember getting beat up because I said vote for Roosevelt instead of Dewey on the school playground, and the kids all chased me and everything. I mean, it wasn't horrendous, but that was the climate.
See, I think most of us who grew up in New York, we can't even imagine that kind of reaction because we all grew up with.
but when we were growing up, we didn't have neighbors or blacks who were friends of ours. So, I mean, we grew up with a very liberal background, but it was not, our communities were not integrated, at least mine wasn't. I mean, Jackie Robinson integrated our community. We passed his house every day on the way to high school, but that was it.
Let's not forget, though, that for a long time it wasn't a Democrat-Republican issue because there were Jim Crow Democrats.
Right.
Too. There was the whole Southern Democratic.
Right, but we didn't
But we
experience
were not
it.
part of
We
that.
were not part of it. So
Right, but we couldn't.
our perspective is class rather than color. When you spoke and Joan spoke, it was from the perspective of equality among the races. And my experience, and maybe Timmy's too,
Yeah.
had to
It
do
was a
with
class thing.
with class rather than color.
All the marches that we went on in Washington, one was civil rights with Martin Luther King, then it was anti-war when I went when Nixon was inaugurated, and then it was being pro-choice, which was a women's movement. So they're all intertwined, and I think they attract the same people.
Charlotte, tell the one we went on together. I was working as a social worker with the Drug Commission. And so our staff decided, the Drug Commission, Nassau County, working with ex-addicts and your whole program there. And they decided, the staff decided we were all going to march on Washington against the Vietnam War. So we hired a bus, and my friend Charlotte and Fred and their two beautiful lily white yellow-haired boys came on this bus with these former addicts cursing rough on the bus. It was just, the contrast was so wonderful, this little family of good-hearted people and these tough, but we all were there against the war. So it was fun. Do you remember the parts of it?
I remember so much about that. The reason I called you and said, Millie, how do we get involved? How can we get to Washington? Was because we had one television set then, and it was in a playroom downstairs, and the kids had their Lego and all their toys and their easels and everything down there. And so Fred and I would go watch the news, and they would be playing. As the war went on, they didn't pay attention to the news. And every Thursday, do you remember this, on Channel 5, I can see his face, they would scroll the names of the dead. And they increased and increased and increased. And little by little, Bill, who was the older one, was starting to watch the TV set. And one day he turned it off and he faced us and he said, "What are we doing about this?" And we were unaware that he was aware, you know. So he said, "You find out how we can get to Washington." So I called you, who always has connections with everything, and you told me about the bus. We had so many experiences. Walking through an African American section of Washington, a woman came out and she kind of followed along, and she said, excuse me, and I, yes, and she said, "Your son has to go to the bathroom." I could tell. She said, "Come into my house." And we went in and we used her bathroom.
It is such a wonderful feeling when you're there. That, oh my God, this is the world. You know, this is the way the world is supposed to be.
There was a coming together of most of us at the beginnings of our consciousness raising group, and we've never stopped. And you talk to your children, you talk to Marcia Bialik, our writing teacher. I think we're a very fortunate group, and we should appreciate what we have. It doesn't redound on each of us individually. I wouldn't want to live forever with any of you.
Apparently not even a day or two.
That's right. Even a day.
Like 2 days was it.
But as a group, I really think we're quite special and quite marvelous as a group.